Dear learners, welcome in the world of machine learning, a practical approach under machine learning using Python series of lectures. This is lecture 3, data sets and data preprocessing part 1. So we'll be learning these data sets and data preprocessing topic in 2 or 3 different parts so as to understand it practically. Now these are the contents of today's lecture. We'll see what is data set or data sets. Then we'll see data preprocessing in machine learning, under which we'll be trying to understand getting the data set, that is sources of data sets, then importing various libraries for preprocessing, importing data sets using these libraries, then finding the missing data in the data sets, then encoding categorical data, then we'll see how to split data in training and test sets, and at last we'll see feature scaling under pre-processing of the data. Now before getting into data set, we'll first try to understand what is data. Now data is collection of data objects, and data objects are defined using attributes, characteristic, that is attributes or characteristic of any entity under consideration. So data has certain identity. For example, I have entities like human, patient, bank, customer. Now each of these entities can be identified with attributes only. For example, human has attributes like age, gender, height, weight, and address. Patient has attributes or characteristic like patient ID, name, mobile, address, symptoms of the patient, then what disease is there with the patient. I mean to say what is the disease associated with that patient record. Now bank customer may have attributes like name of the customer, mobile number, address, account number in the bank, what is the type of account, what is the current balance of the customer. So this way these attributes will identify each of these entities, and that is nothing but the data or a data objects. So data is nothing but a collection of objects, and such a data can be even categorized in different categories like numerical data, categorical data. So here let us look at the figure I am pointing out here. So here we have two types of data, numerical and categorical. Under numerical we have continuous and discrete. For example, numerical data can be a price of the item or quantity of an item or a room temperature. These are the things which can be expressed in terms of numbers. Fine. Now under numerical we have continuous and discrete. For example, some numerical values are continuous like age, weight, blood pressure. These are continuous values. That means we can have a range. For example, age can be 10.5, 10.9, 10.3 up to certain range which can be continuous. And what is discrete? Discrete means, for example, shoe size or number of children. One can't have 2.5 children. One can have either 2 children or 3 children. So this way it is discrete. I think you understand. I suppose that you understand what I mean to say. Now here data can even be a categorical. Categorical is made up of words. For example, eye color, genders, blood type, ethnicity. These are all categoricals. For example, you may put that data in particular category. Suppose I say, do you like tea or not? Your answer is yes or no. So I can have a group of people who will be saying yes, we like tea, or no, we don't like tea. So you have a category in form of yes and no labels or words. You may even say whether this statement is true or false. So you can have true or false category. Color like blue, green, red, yellow, like these are the eye colors. So you may group the people in terms of their color of eyes, that is blue color or green color or a gray color eyes. You may even categorize the people in terms of gender, like male, female, or transgender. So these are all categorical data. So that means an entity can have a categorical attributes. So categorical data can be even divided into ordinal and nominal. So ordinal is like pain severity or satisfaction rating or mood. So you can have certain hierarchy. For example, take a pain severity, whether it is a low or a high paining or intense pain. So you can put categories. That means you can have a hierarchy from low to high. For example, you can compare the temperature, hot, hotter, hottest. You can even uh, measure the performance of student based on average, good and outstanding. So here it is just like a categorical data. Your ordinal data is just like a categorical data. It is categorical data itself, but that data, ordinal data, can be compared. Okay, what of nominal data? So data has no hierarchy. For example, you can't say that blue color the people with blue color eyes are having lower preference as compared to the people having black color eyes. You can't have that hierarchy. So this way your data can be grouped, and based on this grouping you can do the analysis of data. So that's why understanding this topic is very important. Now let us see dataset now. Now dataset is collection of data. Whatever data we saw in the earlier slide. So if we combine those data items in a single well organized and proper format, then we can call this data as a data set. So data set is a collection which is basically put in somewhere like file, preferably file only. So it is put in file in organized and proper format. Now dataset can be stored in various forms, like it can be stored in table or relations in databases, or list of data items wherein each data is a comma separated values. Or you can have any other unique and uniform format like JSON file, HTML file data, or text file data, or even XLS file data. So this way you can have a data stored in some tabular form, and that tabular or some file is nothing but a data set. For example, here I have three data sets with me. Now first is the data set having certain records in which the attributes of data in the data sets, so that is each of the data item in the data set is country, age, salary and purchased. So here you will find some data is numerical, some data is categorical, something like this. So in the second table I have startup data, that is company startup data, and I have a analysis like how much spending is there on R&D, how much is the costing of administration, how much is the expenditure on marketing spend, and in which state that company is operated, and what is the profit of each of the facilities. So this way I can have a data for analysis. So we'll see each of these things in detail. For now, our purpose is just to understand the data set, not to analyze or evaluate the data items in the data sets. We may have, even a plain text file in which there are data items of the data set. So we'll call this file as a data set, even though it is a text file having only two items separated by tab like English word and corresponding German words. So we may need even such sort of plain text file, or we may need even CSV file, that is called comma separated value files. We'll see in the next slide what CSV is. So for now you have to understand that data set can be created and formed by storing the data items in various file formats. Now let us see the sources of data. Now many times we need to create our own data set, and in some cases if you are working on certain well popular domains, that time you may not even need to create the data. You may get a data set available already in the popular sites. Like you may have Kaggle data, AWS data set. I'm talking of data set, not data as such. So Kaggle data set, then AWS data set, you have a Google, Microsoft, or you see machine learning repository. Then you may have even various data sets available at government sites of different countries like India, US, Europe. You may have even other countries also. What you need to do is you need to go to Google and try searching datasets on these various sites. So I'll suggest you to pause this video. Now read these data sites link addresses, then try finding these datasets in the Google, or using Google rather. I'll say I try finding these datasets in over the internet using Google. So here you may even find the datasets of your interest, a domain interest, at GitHub repository, or there are so many universities, prominent universities in the world, and some companies like IBM and so many other companies which are working exclusively on ML and AI. They also provide data sets. Now why do I say that domain interest? Domain interest means you can do the analysis on the data using ML and AI on various domains. Like it can be healthcare, it can be banking, it can be finance, it can be even other domains like retail and marketing, e-commerce. So there are so many domains. So for each of these domains you may need different ML algorithms, and for each of these ML algorithms you may need data sets in the different formats having certain different attributes. So that's why domain is very important. Now if you want to know what are the resources other than the resources I have specified here, so you go to Google Baba, our favorite Google Baba, and in search box of Google Baba you just type open source data for machine learning. You will be getting a lot of stuff of your interest. So I suggest you to go and search this. Now let us see the data pre-processing steps of machine learning. So here we'll be having overall 7 steps of pre-processing, that is getting the data sets, then importing libraries, then importing data sets, then finding missing data in the data set, and then encoding the categorical data. Then we have to split the data into training and test sets, and then last is the feature scaling. So we learn this each of these steps step by step, not all together in one go. So we'll need 1 or 2 more lectures for finishing this particular process, pre-processing of the data in machine learning. So here first step is getting the data set. So we have already seen what is data set and how to get that data set from the various sources. Either you may create your own data set, or you may even get the already available data set on the internet. Anyway, you may create or develop machine learning model, and for that you may need a large data set for making your ML model. So we'll refer machine learning hereafter with the abbreviation ML. So you may make that model more accurate by making large data set available to the machine learning algorithm. But every time making this large data set is not possible. So in that case, if your need is just matching with the already existing domains which are under the research, that time you can get that data set on the internet. You go to the internet and can get those data sets in form of some file. So preferably it is a CSV file format. So what is that CSV? It is a comma separated value files. It is just like a plain text file in which different values, what these values are, these are the attribute values. So these attribute values of that particular data entity, or I may say the entity under consideration, these attributes are separated by commas, and this file is saved in tabular form like spreadsheet. Even you can open this CSV file in which data is stored, which we call this data as a data set. So that file can even be opened in your Microsoft Excel application. So CSV can hold a huge data for ML algorithms. And the best source for just understanding and practice purpose, that is the best source of data set, is the link which I have specified here, that is called superdatascience.com. You go over there and you'll find that there are so many fine, fantastic, small but sweet data sets on which you can apply your machine learning algorithms. Now let us see the next step, second step. So importing the libraries. So for machine learning implementation, we need a data set, and that data set to be operated using Python code and certain predefined Python libraries. So what are those prominently used libraries for machine learning pre-processing? So it is NumPy library, it is a Matplotlib library, and the last one is the Pandas. So we'll see what these libraries are. So we'll try to understand the theoretical aspects of these libraries now, but we'll be using these libraries practically in the Python code for machine learning algorithms in the subsequent lectures. So here NumPy supports mathematical operation in the Python code. All the mathematical operations, if you want to do, then you need to import NumPy. It is also used for scientific calculations. So all sort of scientific calculations are supported by various APIs in the NumPy. Then it supports usage of large multidimensional array and matrices in the Python. So arrays and matrices can even be created or generated using NumPy. So these are the three important features of the NumPy library which we'll be using practically. Next is Matplotlib library. So Matplotlib library is used for 2D plotting. Now it is used with the sub library called PyPlot library. So we'll see how to use PyPlot with Matplotlib. Now this particular Matplotlib library can plot any type of plot in Python like pie chart, histograms, line plot, multiple subplots in one figure. Then you can even print the images. Then countering and pseudo colors you can have. You can have paths, three-dimensional plotting, stream plots, ellipses, tables, scatter plots, and so and so. You have a lot of facilities available under Matplotlib. What you need to do is you need to explore it for different analyses of the machine learning algorithm. So pandas is basically for importing and managing the data sets. So all your data sets can only be used using pandas. Pandas is the library which will help us to open the data set in the Python code and use that data set. So it is used for manipulation and analysis as well. So question is how to use this. So it is very simple. I assume here that you know fair level of Python. What is Python? What is Python programming language? So what are the different statements of the Python? What are different libraries of the Python? Assuming that I consider that you will be able to understand this entire course. See, I will be taking into consideration only the things which need at particular point of time. I won't be covering Python as such in this particular series of lectures because I have a separate playlist on my channel for Python course. So you go over there and you study at least first 7-8 lectures. If you study, still those lectures are helpful for getting a fair level of implementation knowledge of Python. So here, how will you do this import of the libraries? So you'll have to just write down simple statements in Python. Import is the keyword, NumPy is the name of the NumPy library, and as nm I am using here alias. Alias means instead of every time using NumPy, I just abbreviate it using nm, and hereafter I'll be accessing NumPy library using abbreviation nm. Similarly, I have import matplotlib.pyplot. So matplotlib and pyplot, these are the libraries go hand in hand. and I have abbreviated it as MPT, that is matplotlib library, and I even import the pandas. So pandas is abbreviated as PD. So these are the alias of the original library names. So dear friends, we'll finish up this lecture with this discussion, and we'll see the remaining parts or steps of the data pre-processing machine learning in the next lecture. So dear learners, how was the lecture? Just give me feedback, comment on this lecture. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Share this lecture among your friends if you really like it. So we are GCS Solutions, making technology easy to learn. Be with us till next lecture. Happy coding.